Sponsored by rxcardclub.com. Get a free prescription drug card and save up to 85% on prescription drugs. rxcardclub.com. After a tough Tokyo, Canada restored Paralympic Games momentum in Paris. What looked like a bounce back for Canada at the Paralympic Games was more of a return to form. Canada's 10 gold medals in Paris were the most since 19 in Beijing in 2008, and also doubled the output at the Tokyo Games 3 years ago. The 29 medals overall matched Rio in 2016 and far surpassed the 21 in Tokyo. The COVID-19 pandemic affected para sport more than able-bodied sport, with international and domestic competition decimated. Canada's tight restrictions around the pandemic added an extra layer of challenge for Tokyo hopefuls in addition to the adaptations they made to pursue their sport. Canadian athletes showed what they could do in Paris with more optimal preparation. "I would say it's a bit of a bounce forward," Canadian Paralympic Committee Chief Executive Officer Karen ONeill said Sunday. "This really is a crossroads for Canada because what we wanted to do was stop the downturn of our reduced performance, especially in summer sport, that's been evidenced over the last couple of quads. COVID was tough for both our Olympians and Paralympians, but it was markedly tougher for our Paralympians because so many additional supports and services were not available." Canada tied for 15th with India in total medals and tied for 11th with Germany and Uzbekistan in gold among 168 countries. Canadians stood on the podium in 7 sports. Swimming and track and field led the way with a combined 22 medals, including all 10 gold. They had a really good mix of new and more veteran athletes being able to perform on the highest stage, said CPC Chief Sport Officer Catherine Gosselin-Desprs. "That's been really refreshing to see in these 2 big sports that are so important in the Paralympic Games." Nicholas Bennett of Parksville, B.C., had a breakout Paralympic Games with 2 gold medals and a silver in swimming. Tokyo's Paralympic Games were delayed from 2020 to 2021 and held without spectators because of the pandemic. Bennett wasn't rattled by the raucous La Defense Arena atmosphere in his second Paralympic Games. "Just making the team was a monumental task, and then racing some of the best athletes in the world and placing among them to be the best, it's just been absolutely insane," the 20-year-old said. "The experience in the pool, it was so loud that I could barely hear my own thoughts. Compared to Tokyo, you could hear a pin drop. I'm going to dream of these memories every night probably for the rest of my life." He and para-canoeist Brianna Hennessy of Ottawa were chosen to carry Canada's flag in Sunday's closing ceremonies in Place de la Concorde. Hennessy produced Canada's first Paralympic medal in canoeing with a silver. "We're really seeing an evolution of parasport across the world," the 39-year-old said. "I always talk about when we come here we're representing our country, but we're representing something much bigger than that. It's the movement of people with disabilities."